Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Dabble and Babble podcast, hosted by yours truly, Brian Avila Salazar. And this, my friends, will be something. I can guarantee that. Great first impression, just an out of the gate intro, like I've actually done something in my life worth documenting. Like I'm Joe Rogan who's lived an actual life experience. This is just, oh god, it's gonna be wonderful. Anyways, yes, if you somehow managed to find this, good job. My marketing truly was, I don't want to say a hit because this is basically misinformation saying, oh, this is going to be a funny podcast about me, being insightful about the creative process of a young teenager. No, it's not. It's going to be me babbling for like an hour or so. What more can you expect? It's just, that's what podcasts are. But anyways, yeah. This is the first ever episode of the Dabble and Babble podcast, something I plan on doing on this channel of Hat and Cane Productions. Bi-weekly, as in every 2 weeks, there will be an episode because that's just more time to get stories out, live life, which is what podcasts are all about. Not actually finding topics because that takes too much work. Excuse me, you couldn't hear that, of course, because this is a shitty, a really crappy microphone you get in a headset, a gaming headset, because my normal microphone is on the fritz. Don't buy things off Amazon. And so yeah, that's wonderful. Anyways, this is just gonna be me talking stuff. This is really gonna be an introduction video to my channel. Know what this channel is, first of all, which is just me trying to expand my brand of sorts, because I'm as any other kid would wisely choose to do for a future career in life, is try to be a writer, because I think I'm special. No. It's just I want to be a writer. I want to learn basically anything. I want to use it as just an expression of self, and like any ideas, skits. I have a skit script in the works. I have an idea I just need to write down. That'll probably be posted soon after this. I have people who actually I want to talk to on this podcast, so it's not just me rambling alone most of the time. So actual guests, that'll be nice as well. And I'm just a really big project that is like a pipe dream right now, but a short film, which I'll probably talk about in a later podcast. But this is really just me introducing what I want from this channel and stuff. But before I get to most of that, and a dreadful next hour is a little running segment I got off from another podcast I was a part of with my friend, the BLT podcast, that Brian and Luke talk, because his name is Luke and my name is Ryan, as we've established. And so a little thing we have on there, which I got because one time in 8th grade there was a book in my 8th grade, I believe, 8th grade English class called the Book of Questions. And so me being a weirdo, which it'll become very apparent how much of a weirdo I am. This is like a book written by a psychiatrist about like a bunch of deep questions that like you ask yourself or like other people to see what kind of person they are. I would just do a normal thing a child would do in 8th grade, a growing adolescent child, perfectly socially acceptable, is I would barge into conversations that have like no bearing, like something really vapid, like the weather. And saying like, hey, so if you had to choose between your dog or saving 10 orphans, what would you do? Answer it now. That's it. There's no follow up. No follow up. No people. I don't even know these people. It's just no. Yeah. So anyways, we go through by asking questions, and since those podcasts already exist, I'm just gonna answer one already down the list. What I plan on doing is answering a question every podcast. And sorry, there's a little message that says message center, new Chrome version now available. Would you like to install the latest version? No, you dick. I don't know how to get rid of it, so that was annoying. So okay then. So the Chrome Messenger app is not leaving, so I'm just gonna configure that. So while I wait for that to configure, which will probably ruin this recording somehow, because given my fucking luck, it will just make my thing explode. Oh, something's loading. Something's loading. Something is definitely loading. Okay, this is wonderful, folks. Hold on. Oh god, this is so bad already. Yeah. So what I would normally do is just answer a question. I'd get my thoughts on it and like be all deep and stuff, which I'm really not. Really not. This is kind of a little window in my personality. As a writer, you think, oh, this guy's probably like snooty and stuff, and like, oh. But no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Little interruption there. Hopefully I'll find a way to transition it nicely. But my mother called, which is adds on to the amount of this shit going wrong the first time around, which is great. You know, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. 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 Anyways, it seemed the thing stopped loading, so I can finally actually go on. And what I plan to do is, as I said before, answer a question and kind of just talk about my thoughts on it because I'm such a quirky individual. So, number 6. You discover your wonderful 1-year-old child is, because of a major mix-up at a hospital, not yours. Well, would you want to exchange the child to try and correct the mistake? Uh, the thing is, I have a brother who will probably be on this podcast one day. Me and my brother don't look alike, or personality-wise, alike in the slightest. Like we look like separate people. Like when we went to the bus stop. We went to the same bus, of course. People when standing next to each other, waiting for the bus, if it was like late or something, people would think we're different people. They would think we're different people. It was just so not alike, and so we always joke which one was actually uh, the birth son, and the other one was just like picked up in the trash bin. It's him. It's him. Apparently, my mother made my father chase down the nurses with a little baby basket around so they wouldn't lose me, which is just great because mothers. Anyways, yeah, what I want to do a wonderful 1-year-old. Well, I mean, I'm okay. So you've grown attached to a baby for 1 year, and now you realize it's not yours because I don't know, eye color or DNA test. So you gotta like give it back to the hospital and try to find your baby, your actual baby. I think I think I would actually, try to get my baby. I don't think like it really matters what you've attached to like a thing that basically craps and yells and cries most of the time. I really really lasting impression. I think you can deprogram a baby. It's like a VCR, right? Just deprogram the baby, thinking it's his parents and whatnot. See, I don't know because if I actually use my my apparent like above par intelligence or anything actually useful, I'd probably study psychology and and specifically child psychology. So I can figure out what the matter is with like a baby's recognition of like what is parents at an early age for like a year. It's gonna be hard actually now to think about it because it's like a year of a baby knowing. Is the baby even gonna is gonna like be okay? Like will it remember our faces? Like is that gonna be weird for the baby? I mean, foster parents works at like age 4 or so. I'm guessing it'll be fine. Hopefully, if the baby health is fine, yeah. If it's like no like lasting ramifications from like drinking my wife's breast milk is suddenly like soul linked to to its stepmother, then yeah, I think I would give like the baby back and like try to get my own because well I worked hard for that thing. Okay. Oh god, imagine just finding that like keeping that from a kid for so long. Like just growing up with that baggage, you just be like, how you look that kid in the face at like his birthday and say like, "You're my son." It's like, it's hard. That would be hard. It's just like you knew. It's not like a foster parent thing where like the kid probably knows like up from the start. It's like a baby, okay? And you just keep these secret from it forever. Yeah, no, screw that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that because I ain't no baby napper. I am no baby napper. So yeah, that was a good 4 minutes of content. Wow, this is going to be a very, very difficult podcast to get to. I have no idea why I decided to do this. Well, I'll tell you why. It's because to get back what I was on before, with me being what kind of person I am, is I'm just kind of a weirdo. This is becoming apparent very soon. I'm just a weirdo. Just does not belong in general society because not because I'm special. I'm not. You may think as a writer I'm kind of up my own ass about things. Like I see, like I'm like an artist, and like I have a vision. Call myself a visionary. Like I'm gonna change the world in a way. I'm gonna change people's minds and like tell like groundbreaking stories that's gonna like redefine the mortal coil of man and like the direction we're going in as a species. It's like no, I don't take myself that seriously. Okay, kind of person I am. It's like you can tell like a person is by the company they keep. If you can tell by the company I keep, I'm a fucking spastic. That's what you can tell from the company I keep because most of my I'm a part of a business club and a youth literary magazine management club for the most part. Uh, I have my friends are either artists or skateboarders, and yeah, my musical range goes from the lyrical stylings of Aesop Rock, not Aesop Rock, the guy with the friggin' stupid dollar sign in his name, not that one, with no reason. Aesop Rock, who does things like The Impossible Kid, to Ben Folds. That's the musical range, and also Judas Priest sometimes. That's probably a better thing than Ben Folds. Yeah, that's the range you're dealing with me as a person because I'm just hard to fit into a category. Most most of my teachers, I probably should good time to mention. I'm just 16, so don't expect me to actually have anything of value to talk about life because I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm asking others for advice because I clearly don't know what I'm doing, considering I'm talking to a microphone alone while my family goes out shopping. Oh god. Well, basically, what was I talking about? Right, yeah, loner. Basically, all my friends and teachers tell me is that I'm basically an adult in a teenager's body. Like I joke, I'm gonna reach like peak like life levels. I'm not like 25, like so you're in your prime. You can like you love life. You can get a wife and like have a good job that you love. No, I'm gonna wait for like 60. That is that is like the level I'm hoping. Like at 60, I'm gonna peak. Like that's gonna be like it's gonna be like just like it's gonna be like a reverse chart of like white blood cell count with someone infected with HIV. As it slowly goes down and like it reaches a point where like your life just sucks and like you just die from like the common cold. It's gonna be the reverse. It's like my enjoyness of life is gonna go very slowly up until it reaches a point of like just maximum like years of experience and like weird talking ability. And at that point, I'm just gonna live life to the fullest. At like 60, from 60 to 70, it's gonna be my like golden years. I'm gonna like jam out 17 movies, write 3 novels, and have like just a bunch of kids. Even because I have I have the fertility of German land. Uh, oh, that's a joke no one's gonna get. Agriculture. Way to speak to millennials. That weird peak for a second was me drinking my water. Because again, this microphone is awful, and I'm so sorry, but I'm poor and can't afford anything else. And I just, as Joey Cocodillo says, who cares about budget if you have heart? And that's what I certainly don't have, but I have snark, and that rhymes with heart, so sort of, not at all. And so yeah, that's basically it. That was a good question, and what this is really, it's weird thinking about it. Like it's kind of weird because I always imagine people who do things like Snapchat and stuff like that, like just general social media, and I find it normally as just like mindless consumption of stuff, and like basically you go to like forums and like just talking like people. You have like people those kind of people who like millions of friends on Snapchat, but like know 3 of them on like an actual friend level and just send pictures of themselves. Like I find that as just you're talking to yourself. And so I guess the way I express myself as a teenager is just make a podcast. So I'm just sending 700 people I don't really know pictures of my feet once in a while because of a tiny icon and a tiny icon of fire next to the person's name, which I could not give a shit about whether they lived or died in the next 6 months. Yeah. You can tell I'm a very positive person. I preach a lot about positivity, I believe, but the human condition is it's a rousing affair. God, this is so terrible. I gotta say, just if you're expecting greatness, no, just people who listen to this probably already know me and know the kind of person I am, and that's fine. You know that this is gonna be awful. Anyone else who somehow stumbled upon this, first of all, sorry again for this wasted hour. You probably clicked off at this point, but I just wanted to say, like, thing people fear today is like I don't really see people creating stuff. When I look around my peers, I just see it like memeing and stuff like that. Such like low bait, like just no like actual skill of like just sharing images and stuff like that. And I don't know, I find that like really depressing. Like just memeing and stuff like that, how like it becomes such a great thing in just self-referencing things like nostalgia and stuff like that. I find it so depressing when I think of things that are actually like genuine, and that I kind of and like people always say like I'm looking at this like comedian standpoint. Like what I really see is oh, fuck, was calling me again. I retract my previous lead. Seemingly, though, I sounded a bit miffed. I'd like to apologize for my behavior, as my mother was calling me to see what I wanted from McDonald's, and I'm very glad for that. And so, yeah, interruption's fine. Oh, this is great. Before I was recording this on like a crappy phone app, and if that happened, I just had to be me and my friend because I was recording it with the BLT podcast. I would just have to just stop the entire recording and start over again, which would always lead to worse reactions. Plus, I think also not as rambly, which is some would see as a plus, but I see it as a bit of my charm. What was I talking about again? Oh, right, bankruptcy and youthful creativity. Anyways, yeah, like I was saying, like just memeing and stuff like that, and just general like picture sharing is also like vapid and such that, and it's hard to see like just what is truly like something some person actually means and cares about, because all of it's like just screens and stuff, and just like things shared for like just for the sake of sharing, and just nothing just done because someone had an idea. Is all just kind of the edges. I'm not like trying to like rag on people who like memes and stuff like that. It's fine. It's just that for me, like me personally, just being a weirdo, like an old man trapped in a 16-year-old body, it's just kind of tiring to see like just pictures of like some random thing. There's like a fish with like the crying black guy face, super like deep fried, where like pixels are showing like Nemo and just the letter H and next to it. That is what kind of just makes me go like, I just wish someone would just want to make a film. Why don't just try to like make a Lego film like they did like when Forest Fire and stuff like that? Just guys doing things, dudes being guys being dudes, males being opposite of the sex of female. Uh, that's it. See, I don't have a problem with it. I just find it as though I find it just a bit tiring, and people not actually just trying to express themselves like in a meaningful. I say meaningful. This has no impact on the world, but like meaningful ways, and like on the small scale, it's something someone tried to take an effort at and just try to stab at something. You know, that they realize they probably don't realize it's bad, and that's why you have so many like these like directors that make like crappy college films. They look back on like other like grit teeth. But I realize, this being the age of self-awareness and therefore existential dread, that I realize most of my like this entire podcast has just been a train wreck, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it being just this weird, sloppy, rambling stuff, because I hope, for at least in the future, that I'll be good. I'll be good. This will eventually become something that I can look back on and just say, look how far I've come. No one's really doing that around me. I have two friends. They're called, channel name is Toy Lover like 46 or something like that, and they make like little like they're mostly artists now. They recently transitioned. Before they're like, if you don't know this, which is I'm probably listening to right now. So here's thanks to this free shout out from a guy who has no subscribers. And you have 30,000. Yeah, they have 30,000 subscribers. Here's what they do to deserve that. They made little movies about with little, Little's Pet Shop, those like weird animals that have like purses and stuff like that. Yeah, it's basically the same as those Lego movies you see from like Forest Fire, as I mentioned before. Just this weird little stop motion. Not they don't have stop motion animation. It's just more like it's more just music stuff. Like they have set to music, put on like an Instagram filter, and film around in a weird way that like breaks all the laws of actual filmmaking because it's just plastic dolls. basically, basically, a really childish version of that new movie, Marvel. The one about the guy, like the World War II illustrator that got beat up by Nazis and now makes like scenes with dolls and like he thinks they're real, and something that looks very really interesting from the guy who most people know, at least my age, for the clips on the video where he says, "That's what she said." I'm of course referring to The Office, but yeah, it's like that, and now they recently have like transitioned to like more like they actually show their face instead of just hiding behind these weird characters. And I say weird. I I have a bad habit of sounding absolutely condescending for no reason. It just comes out. I don't know why. It's probably from all those snarky podcasts I listen to. Oh god. But anyways, yeah, they don't hype on characters. They actually show their face, and they're like just doing full on like artist stuff because they actually are talented. Like they have a future doing art. God, I wish I was an artist sometimes. But yeah, they're actually doing that. They're actually clever. They have clever editing, unlike me, who right now you're probably seeing a face of a very sad Buster Keaton. So just Buster Keaton. And yeah, that's what they do, and that's the kind of stuff I wish more people would actually try to do. Just be creative and stuff. And I know not everyone's just a creative person. Like some people, are born to be accountants, and that's fine. I just, I guess it's just like me again. I don't want to say I'm a visionary, but just me. I hate talking positively about myself in any sense of the word. I just hate because I always fear I'm coming off as like self-aggrandizing. I just feel as though like most people can talk, like, will talk about themselves well because they actually have a grip on themselves. They have actually, you know, stuff they can point to. So like, I did that work and I'm very proud of it. I just feel like whenever I try to talking about myself, whether it be my writing stuff or just me as a person, I always feel as though like I'm coming off like an absolute d-bag who's just up his own ass, just brown nosing it like he's Marilyn Manson. But so yeah, just to me, I just don't just current age social media stuff like that. So like just quick second, like no attention span content. That's just not for me. That's not. I was born in the wrong age. I was born in the wrong generation. Not just because I like older music, which I really don't. I ever don't have a problem with new music. It's just because I have a weirdly old fashioned sense of enjoyment. Like I like baseball, that kind of old fashioned. One of her mother text me again. Just fun. Seven audio, 7 audio tracks. Why not? It'll compress fine. Oh god, it hurts. And so yeah, that's what I don't like. And so I hope with this I can better myself and actually developing the skill of just speaking and stuff because hopefully it'll be my livelihood one day of writing and stuff like that. And that's what this channel really is, and what this really is, just an expression of self and just putting myself out there in a way that will probably come back to bite me in a college application, college an interview or a job interview when I don't my first book sells, as bad as well as Flaming Pancakes, and I have to get a real job. Oh God, what am I doing with my life? What is this? Oh God, continue on, just fight through it. I mean, yeah, and that's what I really hope. And so hopefully, if I somehow gather an audience, this will be good. This will be like something like long term. People who follow me can say like I was there first to see this freaking idiot actually become something, despite him being ill equipped for literally anything besides being a good writer, which I am totally. Not at all self-recognizing again. Hashtag humble. Yeah, and that's kind of my whole first preamble of just stuff I wanted to get out about the introduction and stuff, and like it's kind of hard to move on from there for another topic. I guess what I have to say is like what I hopefully work on, well, at least in more detail, because like I said, I want to, this biweekly podcast. I'm a skit, short film. This is I'll talk about a little bit about my short film, I guess, because it's an interesting concept. This will tie back to me being an old fashioned. I really like, and I mean to an unhealthy degree. My mother came back with McDonald's. I'll continue this later. Ever notice how like fried stuff usually has like a weird end to it, like the end of a chicken tender? Looks like an old black man's knuckles. Like it's weirdly just curled up and like looks angry at you. It's like a mushroom cloud that like not from atomic radiation, but just pure spite. And also always like at least at McDonald's will have these like weird polyps on the side of them. Like they're the infected from The Last of Us. It's just weirdly just on there. We have no idea why, because chicken doesn't act like that. It's a strip after all. I mean, it's not exactly growing a little garden on top of your on your freaking desk. Okay. What was I talking about again? Oh right, storytelling. God, 4 audio tracks. It's gonna be great to see if it actually works, and this all has been for nothing. And also, along with my now full belly, I have a bit of a soda to also ruin the audio. Let me just do that right now. God. Anyways, yeah, I was talking about my short film. I wanted to get in depth into it. Not really in depth, as it's still I haven't actually scripted anything out. What I have, I'm just gonna say what I have right now is that what I have is just the idea is that the entire like main selling point is that it is I am very fond of the era of silent films. I really like particularly the work of Buzz Keaton. If you all know the now kind of retired YouTube channel that was like the first of like video essays, every from a painting. He did a video on Buzz Keaton called "The Art of the Gag," and basically that introduced me into the whole world of Buzz Keaton, and then it was just so amazing to me, like this guy who's a director, and just like did all this like crazy stuff, just stuff because his movies were like basically like he came from like vaudeville, and like his act, he was like his family was a vaudeville act, and their act, so basically the entire performance was known for like his danger. Like one thing they would do is like the father would be like shaving himself with like a straight razor, like the old timey like barber stuff that's just like one giant knife that can like cut. Basically, just it can be used for surgery. And like the mother or something would like be like chasing a child around and like have like a thing on a like basically a ball on a string, be swinging it around and it'd be getting closer and closer to the back of the husband's head, who's like holding his neck out and like really taking his sweet long time to cut his neck. And it's just like if it hit him, it would clearly kill him. It's just going to all of the jugulars. And so it amazed me like that kind of guy, was also like a really good storyteller. Because when after that, I went to on YouTube where you can find all his movies basically because they're so old, all the copyrights run out, which I recommend everyone do. Okay, there's a bit of a stutter. Anyways, I was talking about how you can find all of Buster Keaton's YouTube videos on YouTube because copyright ran out, and it's probably something like I repeated stuff, but audio is weird. Basically, and after watching all of his Buster Keaton stuff, just seeing his work, and also realizing that he was a great like storyteller as well, and just like it was so just amazingly like this one guy just I just like now freezing and stuttering, and I'm just kind of scared. But anyways, yeah, this one guy could like had like these massive stunts and like this giant like just weird finding stories that always like came to like a narrative conclusion that made sense, and like it was all just like really inspirational and stuff, and that's why I am so I really like that sort of like lost style of like the character, especially Buster's character work is like his silence, they call him the Great Stone Face because it's just pure on like blank slate face that always looked depressed massively, as you can tell from the image you're currently seeing if you're viewing this on YouTube and nothing else because nowhere else because I don't know branding. And I'm just seeing that and like his great character work is just amazing to me, and so I really am kind of like got my wheels spinning on just the way I think, and then like I wonder like going back to also like the age of like today is the age of self-referencing and stuff like that, and always going back to like nostalgia and stuff. And I just had to think like maybe wouldn't it be cool if it was like me, like it's a normal teenage movie, like a normal movie about teenagers dealing with school stuff. But the twist was the main character was just like Buzz Keaton, and that's the premise of the film. Is basically I don't know I haven't worried about like casting and all that because I just need to write the script. But basically, it would follow me. I know I would probably play Buzz Keaton because no one else is that much of a weirdo and willing to get hit in the face as much as me. Which I plan on happening because it's a silent film and they're basically living Looney Tunes back then. God, these freaking those weird polyps of those chicken tenders is coming back to bite me. They heard me talking shit. Anyways, basically, I would play Buzz Keaton and he would have a friend that basically is his interpreter. Like they would like the way I'm planning to get around like guy can't communicate his emotions and stuff like that. It's gonna be boring main character. I say the main character is really just gonna be more like a collage of characters that's all centered around like this silent type guy. So really he's not really the main character, but it is basically the way I get around like him actually like not just being like a running just slapstick moment and actually like being part of the story is that his best friend would be act as like an interpreter of sorts. And so that way he could mime. I would write it so that way just call him S for now, the main character. S would talk to his interpreter friend, and he would talk in quotation marks. He would just mime what he wanted, and the interpreter guy, being his friend since like childhood, would understand it. Since childhood is an important thing, I'll probably talk about this once I actually get it off the ball rolling. But basically, the interpreter guy knows what S is talking about, wrapped up in like other guys and other people in school. It's not really gonna be like a really like this an overarching theme. I'm planning on having it more like a weird series of episodes. Like this isn't like it's just one told narrative. It's just like of random events of like ideas that I think when I first came up with this idea, I just was flooded with like things to write that could possibly go well with this concept. And I imagine that's how I'd run the series, and that would just be a loose connection of like narrative plot points that would continue along just like a really thin line of narrative connectivity that would eventually lead to what would be payoff. Of course, it would just be like everything building on top of one another, like same way like Marvel worked on like basically their overarching story for Thanos since like the first Avengers, that sort of way. Just this weird like interconnected plots of just different times in the school year. But like S and his interpreter will get into trouble, meet friends, talk, and just situations arise, and like just that sort of stuff. That's how I plan on the short film, and that's really what I hope to put me on the map. I also plan on like writing a full book and having it not I don't want to say published, but like able to publish. I could like present something to a publisher before I leave high school. That is like the big thing. That in the short film is like what I really hope to accomplish, which I will. I don't want to keep saying probably. I have to say I will for this because this is what I'm betting my future on basically. I imagine people sometimes in the future, if I ever get somewhat big, people ask, why do you write? And I always say, and I'll probably respond, because I can't sing or weld. Stole that little bit from Rocky. Just, I can't sing or weld. Anything else that would actually be, people would like. Going back to like how I said, I wish I was an artist sometimes, is because I always have these weird, abstract, like story ideas. And sometimes it's really hard to communicate with people, like what that means without giving them a finished product, which often takes a long time. And by the time I'm actually finished, they already lost interest or they're no longer friends with me. And so, for an artist, I could say like, I don't have to talk to anyone. I can just like finish a piece of work after like 3 days and just put it like plop it out on a table, and people would already see like, oh, that's cool. And you don't really get that kind of gratification with writing. It's really more like just because I feed a lot on like other people's reactions. Like I really like getting a reaction out of people. I don't know why. I've always been kind of a performer. I always been before middle school. I was always like a quiet kid. Like I was not. I don't want to say quiet. I just like I always just was a complete loner. Like literally ever since kindergarten. My mother one time, the teacher in kindergarten, pulled aside my mother and told me that I was actively avoiding other children in kindergarten. That's how much of people always say like, "Oh, I'm a bit of a wallflower. Like I'm really shy." Have you been a wallflower since kindergarten? Because that's what I was doing. It was weird enough to where my parent had to be pulled aside and told about it because it just seemed weird. And that's the kind of life I lead. That's oh god. Anyways, yeah, that's the kind of person I was until middle school. Now, like in high school, I'm just known as the weird kid who says funny stuff most of the time. I don't know why people find me funny. It's just like I just usually find out. It's mostly it's really hit or miss with me. Some people really love me and they're my friends, and some people really hate me and they despise me in every ounce of my being. And I take both of the, which is like as I'm like, oh, what are you gonna do? It's really just me being me. And just an absolute weirdo who like just loves to talk and like probably hopefully will. I'm gonna steal this quote from Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller, who are also another giant inspiration. This is kind of like Penn always said he'd have his living would be from talking. He'd always have a living where he just talked for a living. He just talked for a living. I really butchered that quote with 7 other attempts. Yeah, his quote was he always figured he would make his living from talking. And I think I'm on the same path with just my general antics and such. And I hope that you all enjoy this little journey of mine as I again peter off very slowly, very painfully to another topic that I'm now scrambling to think of as I'm talking. Oh God, I'm recording it. You know, this really wasn't the best time to record because not only was I been interrupted 3 times now, but also I'm getting off of a little bit of a slump in my life because I'm just yesterday I had a cousin come from Costa Rica. My father came over here from Costa Rica and like it is like the first ever like family member meeting from like my father's homeland. And so like she was taking a flight from like Costa Rica to like Houston, Texas, and like come over to here in Pennsylvania. Like so we had to get at the airport at like yeah, I think we arrived at the airport at like 1:30 a.m. And like we didn't leave by 4 a.m. And it was just like awful. By the time I get back, I literally passed out as soon as I hit the bed. I didn't take. Yeah, I don't even take off my socks. I just kicked off my shoes, went upstairs. It didn't help like carry the luggage. Thankfully, she only had one bag. My brother's carrying it, so I basically just opened the door. Didn't even close it all the way because I knew they're coming behind me, and just went upstairs and immediately fell asleep. I didn't even talk to first. My cousin speaks only Spanish, and again, my intelligence is wasted. And instead of learning another language, I am learning about really obscure pop icons that no one cares about anymore. So I don't know Spanish, so I don't even I couldn't really talk to her, but even then, at least an attempt should have been made on my part, probably. Considering this is the first time she saw my dad, like she's a cousin, and he's my dad's nephew, and so like probably should have made an effort to like try to talk to her. I haven't. I just we got our bag, which took forever because apparently I don't know how they like lost the bag that was wrapped in blue plastic, and like it wasn't on the carousel. It was like you had to go to like this weird baggage claim stuff because. Well, to be honest, it did look like the stuff, like the kind of wrapping you would put on like a drug package that like people in Miami would go at midnight to pick up from the sea. So maybe that's why. But yeah, we got home at 2:30, passed out immediately, and I woke up today at like 11:30, which is really really late and not healthy at all. It's gonna ruin my sleep schedule. So this is probably not the best idea. But screw it, because why not? I was bored. I was left alone because they wanted to go to the outlets, and even though currently the entire East Coast seems to be, nature is PMSing really hard right now because it's just like on and off storming, like just legit storming. Like the mulch in front of my apartment has like become a moat. It's just like really bad and it's really on and off and just bipolar as hell and it's just not good. And I don't want to be caught in that carrying a bunch of shoes and stuff for a person who's only here for 2 weeks. Oh god, she got me a pencil case though. I really should repay her. Oh god, soda. Anyways, so yeah, that's probably why this has been so poor. Besides my complete lack of charisma and speaking ability. Not say speaking ability, mostly because I've only spoken in class, in the safety of classroom where I can just be a goofball and teachers who actually like me because I've never had a problem with teachers. Even if I don't like the subject, I've always had a good relationship with teachers, and which is really essential. So if you ever people who know me and been in my classes know the kind of shit I try to pull. You just going on just saying stuff that no person with half a mind would actually say. So a good relationship with the teacher is always very necessary. And just also just I always spoke in public speaking situation. Like I took public speaking class, and a part of this whole weird experiment is just me getting like improving my speaking, improving my voice and whatnot, and like actually learning the ropes of like being entertaining through basically trial through fire because there's no open mics for 16-year-olds in Pennsylvania. I don't live in New York. I don't want to live in the city. So yeah, I gotta be sat down here to get no views, and until I get views, I can get criticism of most likely people calling me gay, and I'm complaining about the mic, no matter what. So yeah, it's gonna be a great experience, great learning experience. Oh god, what should I close this out on? Because I need to go to another 20 minutes. Ah, dear god. I think if I drink from the soda as if it's gonna help me. Ah, god. See, it's the summer. This is time for the summer, and I probably close out on I can tell about this stuff, which will probably be my first actual real life experience. So in school there's this thing called a group called the Faye Foundation was advertising, and basically what this group is, it offers Latin American students unique job experience opportunities. And basically what it is basically, you go up there, you say you don't have to be Hispanic, but everyone there's Hispanic, and because it's targeted toward Hispanic people. Faye is like the abbreviations for like future on is like I don't know how to say it, but basically it's future entrepreneurs in Spanish, and then that is FE because the E has a little accent mark because it's Hispanic, and I'm basically what you do is like, hey, I'm Hispanic, I'm interested. Okay, write a freaking essay. Which me, given my, I don't want to seem like I'm bragging, but given my propensity to actually just write normally, like most people dread writing essays. That was a really weird burp. But anyway, most people fear writing essays and stuff, and like it's just about yourself too, which is probably bad for most people who have low self-esteem. But I like I banged that thing out in like an hour. Like I think it's like supposed to be like only like a page and a half. I wrote like 5 pages because that's just how good I am. I say good in quotation marks. It's because I'm a rambling idiot, if you can't tell already. If this has not been proof enough of my ability to ramble on about nothing for extended periods of time, that paper surely was. And it's basically from that I went to University with the sales, which I'll probably talk about my experience there in a later podcast. But what after that was, it wasn't just that like getting to learn stuff, which we did. It was basically a week of like doing courses and like doing like practice challenges of like business stuff. Like we had a business etiquette dinner and scavenger hunts and whatnot. Normal stuff that teaches you stuff for accounting. Scavenger hunts, bingo, shell corporations. Just the usual suspects. But after that week, we were assigned a paid internship for 4 weeks. Paid as in like not by the hour, but like by the end of the 4 weeks, we would get $400 at the graduation ceremony, which is happening on Sunday for me. So by the time I record another one, I'll be able to talk about that. And basically, yeah. So I was sent to an internship, to feed the children, a global organization that sends boxes, to people in need, not only in America, but like to Africa and just impoverished countries basically. But like this warehouse is basically, let me tell you something about this warehouse. Uh, this warehouse covers the entirety of the East Coast, and the person who ran it, Myra, who basically runs all the internships and stuff, made it seem like it was like gonna be a big organization. Like they had other people like Olympus, if you don't know, makes like camera lenses and like medical stuff. Like microscopes, like basically anything with a lens they make. And like all the others like really big corporations. And sometimes the smaller ones like, local zoos and stuff like that. And like it seemed like really big stuff, because it covers the entire East Coast of the United States. It's probably a big operation, right? It's a weird warehouse. So we drive to this warehouse, my father, of course, drives me to this, big looking warehouse. Like, and these are warehouses. This is like a space that other people, like the post office uses the space of these warehouses. Like Chiquita Banana uses the same style of warehouse. So this seems really big and like, big operation. So I go to the front door in my little cute purple line dress suit with my brown khakis and my purple tie because God, I look like an a-hole there. I look like Prince's accountant basically. And I go up there thinking like, okay, it's gonna be like, talk to people. The entrance seemed empty. Like it was a big gray area with like, just like big full like blown up pictures of like them helping children. It seemed empty, but okay, probably they're in the back somewhere, doing stuff. So the person, her name was Beth, welcomes me in, sits me down in like a little corner office and like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm the entire head of volunteership. You may say that's kind of weird, giving a nonprofit usually like and I thought it was like weird, and I said it like, isn't it weird? Isn't you guys like as a nonprofit organization like rely a lot on volunteers? Oh yeah, we do. Mostly because there's only 6 people here. I don't know if maybe you're not getting the scale of this. The entire East Coast of the United States that is eligible for boxes that provide emergency supplies of food and hygiene. The entire East Coast gets those really needed boxes in a warehouse run by 6 people. It's just maddening. This is kind of like a wake up call. Like when you think of like giant things like that, you think of like things like Coca-Cola, which is like so massive. They had to scale their profit margin, like how much of the world's population is drinking our soda. Not even that, like how much of the world's population is not drinking our soda. Is it 2% not drinking our soda? Well, then we're really having a downturn this year. And so yeah, it's really crazy, thinking like these is like because the way they operate basically is they get like groups sometimes of people from other companies and like special needs groups that like fill the boxes. They have 3 boxes. They have one for food, one for hygiene, and one for like specifically for single Avon boxes. It's basically like a makeup company. They give their stuff and like we fill it with a bunch of like perfumes and like body creams and stuff like that for single mothers. Usually like domestic abuse victims, and like those boxes are for like them, just like specialty. And they have volunteers basically do all the packing for them. What they handle apparently is like finances, things with corporate, like when to touch the inventory. They're also not only that with the whole operation of taking care of an entire warehouse. There's like 4 people work the entire like 6 people. One is for head of volunteers. The other's like the main guy, who's the boss. I believe his name was Mike. So that's 2 people. And like the 4 others just run like the shipping and like all of the packaging. There's like one like aisle of this warehouse that keep all like the food and stuff like that must weigh like over 1,000,000 pounds. Just like thousands and thousands, if not millions and millions of pounds of just stuff that they all organize and stuff like that. Just 4 people probably. And it's insane. And so they don't none of the employees really do the packing, and so they usually just leave that to the volunteers. Beth, walks them through, and they just leave them alone for a while. Put them on pallets, and a guy comes in with a forklift, takes it away, to get it, wrapped up and stuff, and that's really it. And so here I'm thinking like, oh, well, what am I gonna do then? Because I assume like I thought one thing, oh, am I gonna like be running like helping like truck order and like timing and stuff like that, and like what people get from like like just inventory, taking notes and like stuff like that, and like oh word, working a desk job basically. He's like she said like, oh yeah, we're gonna start you off with like applications, stuff like that, like volunteer applications, like you can like do that for a little bit, but in a week you'll probably be just folding boxes. That's what happened. In the first day, showed me like you don't have to dress up like that. You'll get dirty enough, and I did get dirty enough because warehouses are disgusting places. All of them are. Thankfully this warehouse was really clean, comparatively at least, but like really really dusty, crusty. So like the suit and tie thing that me and my mother got just bought like a bunch of dress shirts and got them all dry cleaned and like had a bunch of ties ready. We even got like a tie holder rack, and like we were all ready to like get up, dress up, and we just come to the realization that you don't need that. You're gonna be folding boxes most of your time, and I did. The reason they wanted me there, because it was the way you got into show is based on the combination of like what your interests were and like how close you were to it, and they picked me because Beth saw I was a writer, which I put down on everything, basically describing what I do, and I said, oh yeah, just write up a newsletter. That took the newsletter they give up every season basically for the fall and the winter and the spring and the summer. That took one day. I finished that in one day. The rest of the days were just the first like 3 days with like applications, stuff like that, just filing them by name. And then after the week when they were allowed to touch the inventory, I was just sent back there alone. And like every work day was like 4 hours. For most of these 4 hours, I was just back there folding boxes, like like taking the boxes from like flattened out, put them up, put the basically how you fold boxes, like you take the box, like fold it up, basically stand it up, open it, fold the bottom part down to where like there's cycling information on the back of it, tape it, and then just stack it on a pallet. That was my job. I probably now in just that 4 week span of stacking boxes, I probably made over 1,000 boxes. It's just like because you have no idea. I discovered this weird thing about me. It's why the same weird like tick that makes me like play Tetris. But I really like stacking boxes and making them. Like it's just like I get into a weird zen. You ever see like those like fast worker compilations of like a guy who like is like folding playing cards, like just takes it and like immediately like folds it in to itself. Like those people, I'm one of those people basically when it comes to folding boxes. Like I get them done really fast and like and I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Like genuinely, when she came back one day, they saw like what I was doing. Like first I did an Avon boxes, which are smaller boxes. I just stacked them all, basically just an empty corner, like hold like an entire row of them. Like I'm stacking these boxes like each column is like 8 boxes high, and like a row of them was like I want to say like 11 columns, probably a little less, probably a little more. And she came back like she looked at me. She just looked at it like oh, that's a lot of boxes. Like she was genuinely surprised about how much I was able to do in that amount of time. And so I became like this weird box asset. Like this was like this. I found out my skill in life. It wasn't writing; it was folding boxes. So yeah, I did that I basically just did that, and it was also fun. It was great. Learning. It's basically what taught me was I'm really not fit out for a desk job. Like I either had to like do weird like very menial physical labor, but like stuff that like after like 10 days, after a year will probably kill you physically. Yeah, I also had to unload pallets because the way it worked, like they got like we had categories of stuff like here's fragrances, body washes, here's like just random jewelry and stuff for like the Avon specifically. And what they do is they get like just a mixed bag on a pallet. They ship stuff that was like belonged to like each different category. Usually, sometimes it came like all with like 3 packages, but most of it was like just a mixed bag. And so what you do is you have to cut it open, see what it is, and like place it down. And it's a really short. The forklift drivers are nice, and there's no space to like have it like the pallet where you pick stuff up from and like try to figure it out is like close to where you're supposed to put it. But that kind of movement just will kill you after like after a year probably. And so, but I have to do that because filing those freaking volunteer papers was like the worst thing ever. Like it was made me immediately hate the job. I liked stacking boxes more, which is probably telling of something. I don't know what, but that tells me something. And like so, that's basically it's basically so it's either I get a menial labor job or I become a writer. Because if I take an actual dex job, I'm gonna kill myself. That's what the that's the conclusion I came. So it was a good conclusion. Also, I got to work with special needs groups that they came in to do the Avon boxes because special needs groups weren't they have like the people there to like take care of them normally, and like so they're fine, but like we don't let them handle the big stuff because it's basically they come in smaller groups. Like Avon is for like groups of 6 to 8 people, and so usually they came into like a group of 6 or 8, and they were able to do that by themselves. But what would usually happen is that after the first time it came in, they like basically wiped out. You have no idea how fast they run through these boxes. It wasn't like they made it seem like, oh, this gonna be last like forever. It's like gonna be entire harvest. It's gonna be like a bear's fat worth of like boxes, and you'll rent through like an entire one day. All that work was basically nothing. It was like it was like raising a child basically, but like super sped up. It's just like you bring them to life and then before you know it, they're gone. Out to save the world and whatnot, and like you're just left behind doing the same thing over and over again. It's weird. It's just oh god. And so like what usually I do is in these groups I'd watch over them basically and tell them like if something ran out, just move something else. And what I would normally do was either be taping the boxes at the first off, like I'd be like if the boxes ran out after the first day, I had to go over there and like tape them up really fast so that the line kept moving, or be at the end and like tape them shut and like so another special needs kid could put it on the pallet. And boy, both of them stressful. You want to talk about deadlines? People worry about like essay deadlines. No, just trying to keep up with the pace. And like these are like special needs too, so they're not that fast per se. I don't want to come off like an a-hole, but like they're not that fast. But even then, it's still very stressful. Like taping boxes, because tape guns are finicky and like they can be like very hassle orientated. It's like if you even get it stuck for it's like something gets caught or like doesn't cut right into these scissors. Already 7 boxes are backed up, and like this is like just. And so when eventually I moved up to a hygiene line, we got like a big group from Olympus, another internship where actually other internship students went to, and they came over to my place, which apparently all of them were doing desk jobs. So I kind of actually felt lucky in the end. But they came over and they had a big group, and they all were like doing the hygiene box, and that, my friend, was so bloody stressful. And I wasn't even I was just supposed to like look over, make sure like nothing blew up, but like the guy at the front who was another student intern also was my friend. He was left alone to do 2 jobs basically of unpacking stuff that they had like mouthwash that came in like four came in 1 box, and like the line of doing it so fast, like 7 boxes could easily go, and he's also doing another thing like 6 things of shampoo or whatever. And so like it was like 2 jobs that like have inconsistent amounts of like needing to open boxes. It just took up time, and so I eventually just teamed up with him. Even then, it was like super stressful trying to get everything down the line. It was just, it makes you really admire those who work at Amazon. That's what and yet by nearing the end of the episode, if there's one thing you can take away from this, it's respect your Amazon employees because they work a lot harder than you think. Or FedEx. Or the post office. Anyways, given that's my hour, I would like to sign off by saying this has been the Dabble and Babble podcast. Please subscribe to Hat and Cane Productions, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.